Hi, I'm Alan for Old English Outfitters, and we're on the range today with the Smith & Wesson Shield 380EZ, their new 380 pistol that you probably heard a lot about. This is a nice little pistol. It's not a real little pistol, really. It's kind of in the size of the other Shields. It's hammer fired. It has a grip safety in the back and reversible magazine release. This particular one today has the mag release set up for a left-hander. I'm right-handed, so I'm going to run it with my trigger finger of my right hand, which I think I can do without too much trouble. Haven't fired this thing yet. This is our first time on the range, so we'll see if we can put any bullets down range close to what we're shooting at. Seems like a pretty good gun. It's got a decent trigger, pretty good handling qualities from what I've seen so far. We got a couple magazines loaded up here, so let's put a couple rounds down range and see what she does. How about that? I'm just going to shoot a couple single rounds here so we get a feel for if it shoots halfway straight or not. It seems to shoot pretty good. Recoil is extremely mild in a pistol this size, kind of what you'd expect. Something this big and this caliber, 380 ACP, you wouldn't expect to rock you too much, and it seems like it works pretty good. Let's shoot a couple more singles. Seems to be fairly accurate enough. Let's put a couple more down there. Slide locks open as it should, and there shouldn't be any real trouble with ejecting the magazine with my trigger finger, so that works pretty good. Group looks all right. Seems to shoot reasonably well to point of aim, maybe just a notch low. That's not bad for a pistol at this kind of distance. We're at about 20 feet or roughly, something like that. Let's put another magazine in it and try a couple controlled pairs and see what happens. Well, those are both kind of in the center. Same thing there. That didn't look too bad. Looks all right. Very comfortable pistol to shoot. Seems to shoot close enough to point of aim to be very usable as a fighting pistol. So the magazines for this pistol, each of these comes with two. This particular one, by the way, this pistol is made two ways. One of them has a ambidextrous thumb safety back here. This one does not. This is the version without the thumb safety. The magazines, two magazines come with either version of the pistol. They're 8-rounders, and they've got the numbers on the side of the magazine, so you can see what you've got there. But something else they've done that's kind of cool is they've got a tab on the side. It's a little bit knurled. It's not the easiest thing to hold all the way down, but it does give you some leverage to pull the follower down to load rounds in the magazine. When you start to get rounds in there and they're getting all the way down, it starts to get a little bit harder to hold on to, but it protrudes kind of on both sides, so you can get a hold of it, thumb on one side, forefinger on the other side, and it doesn't do too bad. The magazines hold 8 rounds each, and with the help of that little stud there on either side, they actually load pretty easy. It's a nice touch. This pistol is not plus P rated. We're going to say that again. It is not plus P rated. So if you're using this, stick to standard pressure 380 ammunition. 380 is not a Magnum class ammunition anyway, so for the most part, your standard pressure stuff should do the job as long as you can do the job with it. So as you see, the magazines load pretty easy. The slide stop on this gun protrudes just a little bit more than on some other things. That's kind of helpful from the perspective of if you like to reach up there, you can kind of do that to chamber around if you want. Obviously, modern training technique says reach to the back of the slide because it's much bigger, much easier to get to. Since this thing is loaded here, we're going to show you another feature this has a loaded chamber indicator up here on top. Now, you never fully trust mechanical things like this because they can get dirty and other kind of things can happen to them. But this one in this position here, you can see, sticks up just a little bit. It's enough that you can see it. If lighting conditions were such that you could not see it, you put your hand on top of the gun, you can feel it in the up position. That tells you that you have a round chambered and you're ready to go. I mentioned the magazine release is reversible. This particular one has the magazine release set up for a left-hander, but it actually worked really well for me to just run with my trigger finger. It kicks it right out. And you notice you don't really have to wrench the gun around and change position to do that. So it worked pretty good. We're going to go ahead and take that round out of there and lock that back open. Pretty nice little pistol. Recoil is extremely comfortable, very manageable. Something else too that I'm going to mention on this gun. On this side, control-wise, you have obviously the grip safety in the back, which has to be pushed in order for the gun to fire. You have the slide lock or slide release here. And forward here, you have the takedown lever. Something that's kind of interesting about the takedown lever, if we turn this over, the side of it that comes through over here makes a really handy place to find, gives you a little tactile place there to find for your index finger to make sure you're not on the trigger when you're handling the gun before you actually get on target and move to the trigger. Something kind of convenient to find right there, gives you a good index point. Works pretty well. Okay, so let's go ahead and load this thing up and shoot it some more here. See what happens. Shoots just a little bit low for me. Let's see if we can correct that one. Whoops. There we go. And that one I clearly threw to the left. Well, thanks for tuning in. I'm Alan for Old English Outfitters. Visit us next week when we do a tabletop review of this pistol inside, break it down, and see what it looks like. Again, I'm Alan for Old English Outfitters. Thank you.